Hey crafters, it's me, Jen Evers from Quality Crafts. Let's go down to the desk today and make some cactus cards. So I looked on the internet and everything, and since I don't have any cactus images, I thought I would draw some today with you and make some cards out of it. Now I'm going to make a set of 4x4 cards, so I've already gone ahead and cut these 8x4 and folded them in half so they're ready to go. So let's get going with some of our cactus images. A lot of them are, small and cute. They're not going to take up the whole card. Uh, all the images that I found, they all are kind of similar. They either look really realistic or they look really, like, I guess you could call it fake. So I'm just going to make some, I don't know, some fake ones and whatnot. Let's see what we come up with. And some of them had these little spines sticking out of them. Some of them had dots on them. So we're just going to kind of make this up as we go. And when I cut this out, obviously the little spines won't come, but I can always draw them back in, so no worries. That one's cute. See, so it's only going to be, a bite in the corner, and then there'll be a little sentiment on each card. So that's one. Let's try another one. Sometimes when you're trying to do, some DIY stuff, you got to get a little creative and do a little bit of your own kind of drawing. They have little flowers on the top here. It's just a little bit cheaper this way. And these have little, like, white lines in them, so I'm just going to draw those in. I should have used a skinnier marker. I could do that, but that looks pretty good. Okay, let's draw another one. How about one in a bowl? Just a plain big bowl that we haven't done, and then we'll decorate the bowl. And we'll do some of the tall ones. We want them all to be just a little bit different. And let me grab another pen here. Okay, so these are the tiny pens I was talking about. They're Zig, and this one is a 03. It's much, much smaller than the Sharpie Ultra Fine Point, because this one had like these little kind of stars on them. Just make little X's and then an X on top of that. And it kind of makes them look like they have those little fuzzy, don't touch me kind of things on it. I really like the way these look. Okay, then with the same thin marker, which I should have done with those little things, I'm going to go ahead and decorate this. I'm just going to make a bunch of bumps here. And then make upside down teardrops. That looks cool. I'm going to leave that just the way it is. Now we're going to just need one more. Try like a fat kind of a pot. A rounded pot like this. And we'll make one of those, I guess they're almost like a succulent. If you know what those are, I never knew what succulents were until my sister came and told me. My sister is big time into planting different things and whatnot at her house, and I've just never been into plants. That'll work. It kind of takes up the whole thing. That's about it. But we need some kind of a something on there, just kind of bland. So let's do this. You don't have to be a grand artist to make these. You know, you just add on to them whatever you want. So I really like that. I'm thinking that maybe one of them might have a little smiley face on it, maybe this guy, but I'm not sure. But I'm going to go ahead and fast forward cutting these all out, and then we're going to add some color. I'm just using a little bit of my ATG tape now to put them onto my mat so they don't move around while I color them. And I'm going to get out my watercolor set. I was hoping to use a more professional watercolor set with you guys today, but I am between two places, my house and my sister's home up north, where I go and help her clean during the winter. I mean during the summer, and then I'm home in the winter. So I'm just using this generic set, and we'll just see what we get. I want to use some of the greens, obviously, so I might just put some greens down here and try to make it as pigmented as I possibly can. Because the one thing with these is that they're not awful, but they just tend to be a lot lighter in color. So the less water and the more of the ink part that you add, of course you're going to get a darker color. So we're going to try that. That's not bad. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to my brush. And then maybe just sponge off a little on the side so that it's more of an ombre effect or a shadow. That's pretty cool. Let's go with that. And then we don't want to make them all the same, so let's make some like this funky yellow color. I guess I could scooch this up so you guys can see how I'm just taking this yellow color and I'm going to add a little bit of green to that. That's a cool color. Let's try that color on this one. Of course, I'm going to try to leave those ones in between plain white because it gives the illusion of there being like a white stripe on there. And that looks cool. Another thing that I was tempted to do, I could show you guys, is that you can use water, just like water with these brushes, with these paints, and you can put, you can use chalks. I almost used my chalks, but then I thought, I found these. These are a good alternative. I'm just adding a little bit of that dark one from the first one towards the bottom here to give a little bit more color variance, and then wetting it down some to blend it out. That looks cool. Let's leave that one. Now this one is going to have like a variance between the dark and the green. So I'm going to use both of the colors that we just made. I'll bring out the ones here. I'll make these the front ones and those two other ones will be behind. And I want those to be quite a bit darker. So I didn't add any extra water, I just went right back into the paint. We need a little bit of some kind of a color here. You add some more water to it. Now I'm adding the lighter color that we created, just so that they don't appear to all be the same exact color. Cacti, I guess, if you have a whole bunch of cactuses, they all look a little bit different. So we've got one left. Let's try this kind of, I don't want to mess with that one. Let's try this kind of oddly yellowish color. Add a little bit of green to that, see what we get. That's a different color. Let's try that. Oh, cool. I want that one in the middle to be just a little bit different of a color, so I added a little bit more of that green. Okay, now we gotta add some effects to these balls. I'm thinking kind of an orangish red. So I'm gonna start out with the red. I think that's supposed to be red. I don't know, these are really cheap. They sure are turning out nicely though, aren't they? And then I'll rinse off. Let me see if I can show you what I'm rinsing in, because I have it close by. It's this thing right here. It's a water bowl, and you push this, the water empties, and then there's a water jug. I can't get quite the, there's a water jug right here. And sometimes it gets fuzzy with me. It's supposed to just automatically, there we go. The water just automatically comes out, and then I can clean my brush in it, and it stays on my desk. I don't have to run back and forth to the sink. Okay, back to what we were doing. I got the red here. I went back in for more water so I could grab a little bit of that orange and make kind of a terracotta color, because that's the color that I want. I think this one. It's way too orangey for me. Way. Let's go lighter. That's much better. Now this is not watercolor paper, so you see it all pilling up there. I'm not worried about that. It's going to make the paper look like it has texture. So that is pretty cool. I like that a lot. And I'm just going to take a little bit of the black here. There's a gray here, actually. I was going to make a gray, but I think that's gray. Yeah, let's use that. So I'm going to do a little bit of the gray on here. That is cool. And then maybe just a little bit of the black to create a kind of a shadow. That's a lot. Let's get some of that off of there before it gets all over into my bowl. Cool. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and use this orange again on this big one because I like the way that looked. So the dark, and then I went into this really light. I went right over the top of it. I also have my craft sheet under here, so it's no big deal if I go over. And now it's kind of soupy in there. Let's give this a little bit of a, there. Not sure what I want to do with that one yet, so let's leave that one alone. I'm going to rinse off my brush here and go into the blue. It's kind of a light blue, a really light blue. I was thinking maybe that would look more like a glass container. I don't know, let's see if we can fleck it out a little. I kind of like that. Let's leave it alone. Alright, one more bowl. What color are we going to shoot for here? Let's try the dark blue. Dark blue, I can squeeze this water brush to add more water here, which I'm going to do. And then I'm going to mix it with this green and see what kind of a teal we can come up with. Ooh, that's pretty. Let's go with that. Now, I'm going to have to try to be careful here, because I did kind of run over on that other one and it looked kind of funny. That's way too light. I want something a lot darker than that. I'm just going to keep adding until I get a deeper color to that. That fun bluish teal color. And then if I leave it alone and let it dry, it'll dry like that. And then I'm thinking the bottom part maybe a lighter color. Like maybe straight out this funky color we started out with here. Add a little bit of water. Nope. See, sometimes these brushes, they suck the color back up in them. So if I want to add water to that, I'm going to have to, let's see, let's wipe this black off because we didn't really use it. Yeah, let's try that again. That's much better. I like that kind of a, I'm going to call that pukey yellow. Pukey yellow. Oh, that's a fun color. That looks really cool with the teal. What do you think? I'm just going to leave those little odd things white because I'm just not sure I want any color in there. That looks pretty cool. Rinse off my brush here. Oh, I gotta make that flower a color, and I really wanted it to be a bright pink. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna set my paints aside. And right above me are my Spectrum Noir markers, so I'm gonna pick a bright pink. I'm not sure how bright this one is. Let's test it out. Yeah, not quite what I'm looking for. Let's try another one. How about this one? Yeah, that'll work. I don't know if you've seen, I can make nothing grow. But if you've seen cacti in the store or whatever, they always have these bright, glorious colors on them. And they're flowers, and they're so fun to look at. So, okay, let's move on and put these onto the card and stamp out some sentiments. Got the rest of the cards set up for you. Remember, we had 4x4 cards. So then I did a shiny green background piece that was 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then a final white piece for on the top, which would be 3.5 by 3.5. So we get this really cute little green border that kind of goes with all of the greens that were in the cacti. So I pulled out my little mini stamping tool that I created, put it in against the lines and lined up my sentiment, which is thinking of you. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of magnets on there so it doesn't move. And I put this here just so that I could see kind of where I wanted that to be. It's going to be about right there. That way it won't run into the sentiment. And then I'm going to go ahead and close the door, pick up that sentiment. And as you can see, my little thing moved because it's not perfect. But I know what lines that I lined it up with, so I'm just going to put it right back where it was. So those lines are truly helpful. And I'm going to, now I pulled out my StazOn, but I don't want to use that. I'm going to use my Memento. I just think I get a better, my StazOn is always just kind of dry, so I'm going to get a better impression with Memento. Go ahead and close this down. That's pretty good, but it's a little light on one side, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it one more time. Perfect. I'm going to take it out of here. Now I've gone ahead already and put on the pop-up tape because I want these to pop off the card just a tad. And I'm going to put it right there. Then with my ATG, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little tape around the edges of this one. Oh, sorry, I bumped you. Center that as best I can. Put a little bit more tape on this again. Now here's where, before you put this last panel on, if you want some kind of a twine or something around your card, you're going to want to add it now, so that you can hide it behind this layer before putting it on the card. But I like the clean and simple look of that, so I'm not going to add anything else to this at the moment. You could do sequins, you could do all kinds of stuff. So a lot of times on my channel I don't 100% or 110% finish a card, because I want you guys to take your ideas and finish it off. But isn't that cute? I think it's super cute. Let's make another one. Let's not all make them all thinking of you though. So I'm going to pull this back out. And another one of these. This one's going to go here, and we want, well, let's get rid of the thinking of you. I'm just going to wipe it off quick. I got some ink on the inside, no big deal. With Memento, it wipes right off. If you use StazOn, of course, you can always just use rubbing alcohol. It comes off anything. So if you've got StazOn on something, you can definitely get it off. It is not as permanent as you might think. I'm going to put that thinking of you stamp back, and let's see what else we got here. How about hang in there? I love that phrase. Hang in there. We want that to be right about there. That looks good. Okay, move this guy out of here. I'll use a couple of magnets this time to try to make sure that he doesn't move and won't get up. I love this tool. The regular Misty is on my Christmas list. My parents and my sister are always like, we don't know what to get you, so I've just resorted to taking all the crafty stuff that I want and putting it on my list. That way they don't have to think about it. They can just go to my Amazon list and check it out. All right. Same with this one. Uh-oh, where did my little cacti go? Did I knock him down? Oh, I probably did. Oh, there he is. I want to show you one other thing. Remember when I tacked these down to here, and there's a little bit of, this one you can't see, but there's a little bit of sticky left on there. If you're worried about that, they have these fun little tools that have baby powder in them, or talc powder. Before peeling off the top piece, see, these are not sticky right now. Just add a little bit of that powder to it and get rid of that stick. Yeah, totally worth it. If you don't have one of those, maybe they'll be in a video sometime down the road. Use baby powder or talc powder, whatever you got, whatever you call it, and put it in a baby sock and tie it shut. Bingo, you got your own little do-it-yourself one. Okay, and same story here. We're just gonna tape down each layer. on top of the green. I really love that shiny green. I have had that forever. See how the back of it is black? Only the front of it is shiny green. I just never really found a use for it, but it really goes well with these cards. Okay, that's another one done. I'm going to do the last two in speedy up process, and I'll see you at the end of the video. Now we've got all four of them finished. I'm just going to add one last little touch that I think would make these look really great. I'm going to use one of my Spectrum Noir markers, a very light gray. That's a good gray. I'm just going to create kind of a shadow under each one of them. It already, if you look at it down, it kind of creates its own shadow. So I'm kind of taking the clue from where I see that light hitting it on the side here and creating my own little shadow. Basically, the more I go over that gray, the darker it would become. I could always add another extra gray too, but I think I'm just going to stick with this one. Alright, I hope you learned some fun things today, or at least enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up so that I know you liked it and you want more of this, and share it with a friend that you think that will learn something or really enjoy it as well, and I'll see you guys next video.